Serious ex-prisoners of Reddit. Who was the most evil person there, and what did they do that was so bad? Not in prison, but I was an intern in a public defender's office over 10 years ago, and the one that stands out was a juvenile locked up for the third time for kids age 2 to 4. Kid was obese and clearly very damaged. This was a juvenile detention center that was often used as a babysitter by crackhead moms, accuse the kid of a crime, and get them locked up for the weekend so they could go on a bender. He was serving a sentence. I was warned going in there that he could turn violent at the drop of a hat, and the attorney was nervous about bringing a young female in, but I insisted. Kid looks me straight in the eye and says, "Don't let me out. I will do it again." I can't stop. He was hunched over, dead eyes and completely serious. Not sure about most evil but interesting story. When I did time I was bunked up with a guy who had stabbed his uncle to death, molested him. Guy was insanely mean, but when lockup came, he was super nice to me. He was 23, but couldn't read or write, so we would dictate letters to his girlfriend and I would write them for him. When my dad went to jail he was shocked by how many young men couldn't read or write. He made a lot of important friends because he was one of the few people able to help with legal paperwork. Is your dad indeed a freshen? In here. I did 5 years in Leicester and Featherston Priscilla NS in the early 80s. One guy in Featherston was a lifer and had done 30 plus years. Apparently he used to young boys and cut their off. When he was arrested he had a fresh vodka in his pocket. Well fuck. The words "I shot that the stomach and I hope they both die" were used in reference to a 15-year-old pregnant girl. I won't ever be able to forget that one. There was also this dude in his 40s. This was when I was at the county jail before being shipped off to state prison, who was a janitor at an elementary school. He was weird with a giant Star of David tattoo on his back and blonde highlights in his longish bowl-cut black hair. He sodomized 2 girls, 9 and 11, with a broom handle. I think his charge was sodomy with a foreign object. I remember everyone feeling contempt because we knew that in that county offenders got off easy. Fortunately, we were wrong. He was given life. I remember the paper he got from court read: release date, deceased. There was another chomo who raped his 3-year-old daughter, and when his wife caught him, she freaked out and called the police. He ran from the cops in a car and drove off a cliffside. Whether that was on purpose or not I'm not sure, but here is where it gets worse. So after the accident, he couldn't talk or act normal. He was essentially retarded, would shuffle around and rock back and forth anytime someone talked to him. Brain damage is what people said from the car crash. People were nice to him until they found out his charge, then ignored him or were cold towards him, but he was restarted at this point, so no one went out of their way to harm him. This went on for maybe 7 or 8 months, but people started to say he was full of because gradually he started acting more normal, or people would catch him acting more normal than they believe he tried to portray himself. Eventually, it became obvious he could not keep up the charade any longer and everyone knew he was faking being retarded. People started with him and tormenting him. People pissing on his laundry bag. Trustees banging their brooms on the side of his cell wall to make him start going crazy and crying. He had a single cell in the corner. He was still trying to act like he was restarted, but was slipping up and slacking at times, and it became obvious he was full of The worst part is that he only got 4 years. 4 fucking year for his daughter. I got 6 years for robbing someone of their drugs. Anyways, when he got to state prison, after being shipped from the county jail, he got beat real bad. Word travels in the system. I think he spent the remainder of his time in isolation. Even the guards hated him and knew he was bullshitting. English guy here. I spent 4.5 months in prison in 2018. There was a guy who was really nice, seemed like a genuine guy. That was until I found out her strangled his drunk wife to death and left her there whilst he went to work the next morning. The killing your wife and going to work like nothing is wrong thing. Years ago, husband trained a guy in his company and the guy forgot their assigned iPad one day. He told him to go home and get it. The guy went home, stepped over his wife's dead body in the kitchen to grab his iPad, and returned back to work. About a week later my husband came home and told me what they had found out when the police came in to ask them timeline questions and more. Right before he was arrested, he killed her before work, was hoping that his alibi would be I was at work all day on base. I couldn't have done it. He made some critical mistakes. He would have been caught either way, but proof that he went home when her body was already laying there dead was another nail in the coffin for him. When I was in the outbarks the day before I was released, I was hanging out with a bunch of guys just killing time. One of them was part of a mutie killing gang. They kidnapped and killed a bunch of people for body parts and cut them off while the people were alive. It was a pretty gruesome case. Anyways, he was really quiet and rather stupid. Just a simple farm boy type. Edit. Article about it. https://www.isle.co.za/news/South Africa/gang held for serial mutie killings 317,506. I was 16, but tried as an adult, so they kept me in a 21 and under pod. Malvo, the DC sniper, was in my pod. Also, one of the first people I saw in a chain gang was Charles Manson's brother. Swastika on his forehead and everything. Lessons learned. Don't be a boy. Boy. What did you do related to that got you tried as an adult? Technically armed robbery with a deadly weapon, but in reality it was me and 4 other friends who held up a store one of us worked at with a plastic gun. Still ridiculously stupid, and I deserve everything that came from it, but it really was the life-altering event I needed. And it didn't help that Jay Leno and David Letterman made fun of us either on their shows either, lol. Well, kudos to you for changing. Many people don't. Thank you. I was lucky to have a good support system around me and family and friends. I think many people who fall into their past tendencies don't tend to have the truly loving and caring individuals I had. But you always have to be accountable for your own actions no matter what. I was locked up with Jodi Arias, so that was bizarre. There was also a woman who murdered her baby and kept it in the freezer. We called her Maytag. Removed. I am 20, was in and out juvie from 15 to 18 till I went to county jail. The worst people I came into contact was a boy 15 who shot his stepmother, slit her throat, beat her head in with a blunt object, wrapped her in sheets for the father's roommate to find her, then he shot him. Happened in McMinnville, Oregon. Other than that, a lot of people raping siblings and making threats to shoot up the high schools in the area. That's Yamhill County for you. Removed. I was in a women's prison. New inmate told everyone she was in for tax fraud. Couple of days later, she gets the *** beaten out of her and doesn't leave her cell again. Food gets taken in by screws and eventually she gets ghosted out. Turns out she was in our side and both her husband and son were in the male side for running a child *** ring. Those guys had been put straight in the VP wing, but most female prisons don't have enough *** offenders to have one. It was one of the screws who told some of the inmates why she was in. They wanted her to be taught a lesson. The offenses were awful. She was fully part of it and was responsible for acquiring a lot of the victims as she was trusted by people. Youngest victim was her niece's 3-month-old who had to be hospitalized due to trauma. Sorry to ask, but what's a screw? Prison officer. Oh, I see tie. Before I got my prison sentence in 2013, I was in Arapahoe County Jail with James Holmes. Was pretty crazy cause they'd put the whole facility on lockdown to move him, even though he was in segregation. This rich kid stabbed his friend in the chest, killing him, but he was on Xanax and weed at the time and doesn't remember anything of it other than his friend on the floor dying. The mad thing is this guy, 18 years old, actually got off with the murder and found not guilty, although was sent down for just under 2 years for possession of a knife. His parents were quite wealthy and it was a big case in the UK. Basically his barristers were the best money could buy and he said that's how he got off. Edit. He didn't have any remorse for his actions, which was made to think made him a pretty *** up person. It's a funny one though, because he actually seemed a nice guy until he would talk about the killing and just didn't care what he had done. Nobody else in the prison had ever killed anyone to my knowledge, as it was a lower CAD prison, but he was only there for possession of a knife. Edit again. I didn't expect people to know the persons involved in this, or as many responses. I'm currently still on license, meaning I still have to report to the probation service and don't particularly want any blowback for mentioning this, and can never be too careful. If anyone has any questions, PM me, as I'm not answering specifics on a public forum. I know it's anonymous, but just not worth the risk. Sorry. Wild story. I can understand him not remembering due to him being on drugs, but the no remorse part really threw me for a loop. I was in JDC, not doc, but most of the people in JDC were locked up for the same reason as some people would be in document. I remember talking to this kid, and he was kind of stupid in the head. I asked him what he did, and he raped his 10-year-old sister while she was asleep. Most of them were in there for murder, but he stood out since he was a *** offender. I worked with a lot of juvenile *** offenders over the years. normally the best behaved out of the bunch, and when I would happen upon their convictions it would always surprise me at how heinous some of their *** crimes were compared to how subdued and or polite they were when I knew them. The sad fact is that the overwhelming majority were in therefore perpetrating the same abuse that they were simultaneously a victim to as well. Sad to see the circle of abuse and how it perpetuates itself. Same. I was a detention officer for a while and I never looked too much into what the kids did, especially if they were well behaved. There was this one kid that was just great, always helpful and never caused problems. One night in the control room I mentioned to a coworker how awesome this kid was helping close up the kitchen, and she says, "Have you seen what he's in for?" I had not. So she showed me that he was actually in for molesting his 18-month-old baby sister. I'm a juvenile corrections officer and absolutely agree. The best behaved are always *** offenders. The worst are usually car thieves. I wonder why that is, in a psychological sense.